half in the bag. Put it in my hobbit hole. Is Percocet food?
It can be.
Is oxycodone food?
It can be.
Clozapine? Isn't that a drug for crazy people? I don't know what we're gonna do now, Jay, that this house is sitting on the bottom of a lake.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we put all these garbage bags over the windows. It's helping to keep all this water out.
Yeah, who would have thought that some duct tape and garbage bags would be able to withstand the water pressure of a gigantic lake?
You know, Jay, this whole sinking house saga of ours has gone on longer than a Peter Jackson Hobbit film.
Hey, speaking of The Hobbit, did you hear Kim Jong-un was threatening to bomb movie theaters that were playing The Interview?
Little does he know that movie theaters are already filled with bombs.
Speaking of bombs, do you want to watch The Hobbit Part 3 and talk about it?
I guess so. What else do we have to do down here?
It'll kill approximately 7 hours. Ugh. Oh, there it is.
The Hobbit Part 3.
Disc 1.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Put it in the player. Play.
How are we getting electricity down here?
Yeah.
Thorin, you gave a promise.
You brought upon them only ruin and death.
You've won the mountain, is that not enough?
Peter Jackson's The Hobbit series is back, but sadly, the Denny's Hobbit menu is not.
I wanted to fill my Hobbit hole.
In this third installment, called The Battle of the Five Armies, 4 armies fight each other to get into a mountain filled with gold. A bunch of strange things happen involving ghosts and laser beams. Then there is a bunch of fighting, and then there isn't. Frodo Baggins then returns to the Shire, the only place in the world he feels safe and at home, only to find out that his neighbors have declared him dead and robbed him. Got my Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies cup.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm making a gin and tonic. You ready to talk about The Hobbit, The Battle? So, Jay, what did you think of The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, the final Lord of the Rings Hobbit film in the J.R.R. Tolkien book universe?
Can I tell you, I honestly didn't know until today that the subtitle for the movie was The Battle of the Five Armies. I've cared so little in paying attention to this movie. I just knew it was the final Hobbit movie. I didn't even know that was the title. Well, Mike, what did you think of The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies?
Well, I had no idea what was going on the whole time.
I was gonna say, like, I know that when we saw the second movie, I thought it was better than the first movie, and I know that I enjoyed it to a certain extent. I would be very hard-pressed to tell you anything that happened in it.
Is the first one when Gandalf said, "You shall not pass"?
That was in the Lord of the Rings. That was in the first Lord of the Rings film.
Well, watching
that was
this,
27 years ago.
Let me just throw this out there.
Okay.
I had no idea what was happening the whole time. And I am to blame for that, partially, because I accept some blame. Because, you know, there's Lord of the Rings fans out there that are like, ooh, you know, and really, like, I watched the other two movies once, didn't pay the closest of attention. I could have rewatched the second one, the first one. I could have familiarized myself a little more with what was happening. I know the movie is supposed to do that for you, but still, I accept some of the blame because I have no idea what's happening. What's her face shows up.
Kate from Lost?
No, Kate Blanchett shows up.
Kate Blanchett from Lost.
And then Christopher Lee's there, and I'm like, I thought he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of ghosts, and they're fighting ghosts, and then the devil comes through the sky, and Kate Blanchett turns into a 1980s video game, and she has some
that was
sort
the
of...
best part of the movie.
That was a pretty awesome part, but I'm just like...
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea what's going on. And then I'm watching, and I was like, oh yeah, there's dwarves in this.
Yes, yeah.
And Gandalf is in a metal cage hanging off a cliff, and I'm like, I don't
remember him ending up there.
I don't remember how I got there. I remember there was a mountain, and I remember Smaug.
Well, how could you forget Smaug?
It's hard to forget Smaug, and it's hard to forget that Smaug was breathing fire onto the lake city,
Yeah.
and he was. It's like that was a big cliffhanger. Smaug's gonna fuck everything up, and I knew that the bard was gonna shoot a black arrow and kill the Smaug.
See, I didn't even. It took me a while to get. This is, you say you're partially to blame, but I'm also going to blame the lack of interest in the movies, like the lack of memorable characters, or like, because I've had no desire to revisit those first two Hobbit movies just to watch them again. And this is coming from someone who loves the Lord of the Rings movies, or in preparation for this. So when this movie starts, it literally starts right where the last one left off. So in addition to this being its own movie, it's also, we're watching the ending of the second movie. This whole opening should have been the ending of the second movie. It had a very lackluster cliffhanger ending. But yeah, we're seeing the bowman, the bard. What is it? The bard? Is that what they call him?
Yeah.
But you see him. I completely forgot who he was. And I was like, oh, that's that guy that was in the last movie. Why is Gandalf in a cage? I cared so little about what was going on in the previous two movies. I don't even know if I could tell you the characteristics of most of the characters in these Hobbit movies.
I think it's because the bigger, more epic story was told first, and watching these three movies, the problem is that it doesn't feel like there's that much at stake, and it doesn't feel like there's that centricity, where it's like with the Lord of the Rings movies, it's like the eye in the sky, the whatever Sauron. And it's like there's this big evil force, and we all got to rally together to stop it. And it was more clear.
Yes, well, it's clear, and there's, like you said, there's more at stake. With this, like, over half the movie is just one long battle sequence, but it's just a bunch of groups of people fighting over gold. In the Lord of the Rings movies, like, they're fighting for the fate of the world.
Yeah.
I don't care about these dwarfs and their gold.
I was more interested in the Bard character.
Yeah.
His storyline, as opposed to every now and then you'd see like Bilbo Baggins going like this behind characters.
That's his role, this whole movie. It's
Yeah.
just, hey, what are you guys up to?
Smaug gets killed, and then it's like, okay, everyone was scared of this big fucking dragon. No one wanted to touch that mountain. Now that Smaug's dead, it's filled with gold. Here comes everybody. I think that's what the plot was.
Yes.
Although I don't know what the orcs were doing.
Why do the orcs want gold?
I don't know. And then everyone kept going, war.
I will have war.
It should be a drinking game, because
Every time they say war?
what Legolas and Kate from Lost, where they're like, let's go, and observe the kingdom somewhere, and then like bats flew out.
Yes.
And then and she's like, what are those? He's like, they're bats, and that only means one thing. They're bats of war.
These bats are bred for one purpose. For war.
But then all the armies fight, but nobody goes in the mountain to get the gold.
They have to fight. They have to have war before they go in to get the gold. It's weird because the first two movies, I think our biggest complaints were that there's so many subplots and so much added, bloated shit. And this movie, there's almost too little going on. There's not enough to support a whole movie, which is why the battle just is like endless.
I remember the Hobbit book being a magical little adventure about a hobbit who finds a ring and a frog that wants to take it from him. and in this, it's like, I don't know what's going on. And I think when the devil came through the sky
Yes.
with the laser beams and the ghosts, I think that was Sauron.
Yes.
And then
Possibly.
Kate Blanchett banished him into the nether regions.
Yes, and then Christopher Lee says,
I'm gonna go talk to Sauron myself.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is a lead-in to the Lord of the
Exactly.
Rings movies.
Leave Sauron to me.
And that's the big thing is like, as much as I love the Lord of the Rings movies, even the ending of this, which I won't give away too much, but it is a nice tie-in with the first Lord of the Rings movie. Like no emotion for me, not even like a tingle of nostalgia. I watched this movie completely distant.
Yeah, there was a little disconnect between the emotional connection with the characters.
Yeah.
I felt the emotion being put on me.
I know what they were going for, but I
Yeah.
didn't care about any of these people.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings movies, very distinct characters,
I'm a
very
sucker-
memorable characters.
I'm a
but-
sucker for some sappy Howard Shore music.
Okay.
It warms the cockles of my heart. And I was like, oh, this character died, that character died. But really,
It was really bizarre when Bilbo died.
spoilers.
Oh, spoilers, I'm sorry. I would say out of the three, it's the best, which isn't saying a whole lot.
I see. I can't remember the other.
This one felt the most like if you eliminated the dumb love triangle subplot with Kate from Lost and the little dwarf and Legolas, eliminated that, cut off the opening with the resolution of the Smog subplot, it would be almost like just a standalone fantasy adventure film about all these people fighting over gold. And it kind of works as far as that goes.
You started this. You will forgive me if I finish it.
When faced with death, what can anyone do?
I will not hide while others fight our battles for us!
What's weird is that we've reached a point where you can watch a movie that's this grand in scale and just be like, meh. Because this is, it's quality filmmaking, it's Peter Jackson knows how to make a movie. He doesn't know how to edit himself down, but he knows how to make a movie. And it's got a lot of good action in it. It's got, characters have arcs, all the stuff that a movie should have, but there is that disconnect at this point.
Yeah, you really need that. You really need that investment. You need that. I'm really fearing. I would have liked the whole movie to be about killing Smaug. Like watching that town burn and
Oh, sure.
like that was exciting. That opening,
Yeah.
like all that stuff was great, and the Oakenshield going mad, mad dragon disease,
Whatever that was supposed to be.
Yeah, his greed. I guess it was kind of similar to the ring of power, kind of messing with your brain.
Until the movie didn't require him to do that anymore, and then he just stopped being an asshole.
And then, you're sort of making that decision, do I stop here, but he's getting away on me, I've got to...
I don't know. I don't know how much of it is just him feeling like, oh, we're making these, I better make it epic. So it balances out with Lord of the Rings. I know originally it was only supposed to be 2 movies. Originally, he wasn't even supposed to direct it. It was going to be Guillermo del Toro. So I don't know what changed when Guillermo del Toro left, and he's like, well, I guess, because he kind of, I think his attitude was like, well, I made the Lord of the Rings movies. That's it for me. Middle Earth, that's it for me. Guillermo, you go make your movies. And then when that fell through, if he almost felt like it was more of a burden to make these, I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah, you can't. It's hard to disregard the artistry, the effects, the costumes, the sets, all that stuff, and all the detail and all the work that goes into all these action sequences.
That's worth pointing out because I've heard some people compare the Hobbit movies to the Star Wars prequels. And I don't see that at all. Like these Hobbit movies have lots of script problems and they're bloated, but there is clearly care and craft put into it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very unfair comparison. There are some moments that are like green screeny and fakey fake a little bit, but overall, it's amazing. It's amazing what films can do. But you need a little more vested interest in what's happening.
Yeah. I just wish that Bilbo had more to do than watch other people do things.
Yeah. I think Peter Jackson likes the giant monsters and big battles elements more than the little Hobbit elements.
Yeah. Which was, I know, when the original Lord of the Rings movies were coming out, that was Roger Ebert's biggest complaint, is that they're about this little Hobbit and his Hobbit friends, and they go off on this grand adventure. And I remember him in, I don't know if it was Fellowship or Two Towers, where he says that the Hobbit characters kind of get lost in the midst of all these bigger story elements.
Well, you should be glad he's dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't feel that way about the Lord of the Rings movies. I think everything was balanced pretty well.
Yeah.
But this one, the human elements, the character of the hobbits kind of gets lost.
Not kinda.
He gets completely lost.
You have but one question to answer. How shall this day end?
So, Jay, would you recommend Hobbit's battles?
If you made it this far, I guess. Like I said, it's probably the best of the three. We're kind of being pretty cynical about it, but it's fine filmmaking, good action. Goes on too long as far as the action goes, but the movie is 2.5 hours long, and it never felt that long because the story is so straightforward and simple. So, yeah, I mean, if you liked the other movies, you're gonna see this. As someone that's a big fan of the Lord of the Rings movies, I don't have any desire to revisit any of these Hobbit movies ever again. Oh, I was hyped for the first Hobbit movie. I saw before the movie came out, I saw the Peter Jackson's little videos, behind the scenes videos that he would post on Facebook, and I'd hear that Hobbit theme music and be like, oh, we're heading back to Middle Earth. And then you see the movie.
No, I didn't have quite so much nostalgia for Middle Earth, it felt like backtracking a little to me. I was like, the big epic story's been told.
Yeah.
This is very much prequel comparison.
Yeah.
Where it's
yeah.
like, okay, I'll watch them, and they'll be neat, but it feels like the bigger story's already been told.
Yes. What I would be interested in revisiting The Hobbit for is to see the fan edit once this one's out on Blu-ray, where they take all 3 movies and they cut them down to 1 movie.
Come on, Topher Grace, where are you? Grace us with your fan edit. But why do the orcs even wear armor?
I don't know.
Like a 6-year-old kid can kill them. Just going like, they go, ow, and they spin around and fall down.
Yeah.
Like they got all these like massive.
Well, the elves cut them down like butter, so they're really quite useless.
So they tried to do a Brady Bunch reunion, but everybody forgot that the dad was dead.
Oh, how embarrassing. Mr. Plinkett, you know how to use a computer?
Damn right I do. And I think I figured a way out of this bottom of the lake nonsense.
Oh, how's that?
Well, I heard you talking about bombs earlier, so I figured that an explosion ought to propel the house back up to the surface.
But how?
I posted on my blog that Kim Jong-un is a fat, cowardly, murderous pig fucker. I figure when that crippled paranoid slob with the Three Stooges haircut hears that, why he ought to... What?
Oh dear God. Is that what I think it is?
It's working! It's working!